Welcome back to Wave 3 Listens. Nothing says Merry Christmas than when you wake up in the morning and around the Christmas tree there's a little railroad track running and a train going around. It's a lot of nostalgia, but it's also very new age technology. To talk about that with us today, from K&I Model Railroad Club, I have Stan White with us. Welcome back, Stan.
Thanks for having us.
And also Mike Berry. Mike, welcome in.
Thank you.
All righty, guys. It's interesting because when I think about model railroads, it brings me back to a time. But what's interesting about it is it continues to do that. There's a lot of history here, but also there's a lot of new age technology. If you would, Stan, tell me a little bit about the mixture of the old school and the new school.
Well, a lot of things are the same and some are much different. And each of these engines you see on the table here today are all computer controlled. They all have a microchip in them. They can be controlled from a handheld smartphone. They can be controlled from an iPad. So the technology is caught up with the hobby and modernized the hobby for today's use.
And I would think that keeps the young generation involved as well.
Definitely.
Those who love the history like I do, but then of course the younger folks who say, I like the technology aspect of it. So you get a little bit of both. Mike, I'm going to ask you, what is kind of the mission of K&I Railroad Model Railroad Club? Is it about the education, or is it the enjoyment, or is it all the above?
Yes.
There you go. That's a good answer.
It is to help preserve the history and then carry that history through on education by the displays that we have. We have a traveling layout we take around, and that way we can talk with people about railroads, about how they used to be, how they are now, and how the hobby was and how the hobby is now. So it's a many-faceted project that we try to carry on.
And I do think it's appropriate for this time of year. Stan, you've got I guess an exhibit that folks can come see. Winter Wonderland, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, we're going to be out at the Southwest Library, and we'll be there on the 23rd, and then we'll skip the 2 days, Christmas Eve and Christmas, and be back out there on the 26th through the 31st. And have a display out there, a full display with all the scenery, the engines. The children and adults can come out and watch it. We'll talk to them about the hobby and about the history of railroading.
You know, we had a brief conversation before we came on, and it's amazing to me, Mike, about how elaborate some of these landscapes and how detailed they are. Talk a little bit about that, because it really is an art.
It is. It really is. We try to get as close to real as we can get in the hobby, with not only the trains like you see here, but as you mentioned, the scenery, the buildings, the people, all of the different aspects.
See, that looks real to me. I'm looking at this video, so that is a model railroad, right?
That is a video of our traveling layout, the layout that we will have out at the Southwest Library. All the vehicles, the buildings, the lights. The people
inside, yeah.
Yeah, there's interiors in the building. The closer we can get to a reality, where if you take a picture and you can't tell whether it's a model or real, then we have succeeded. If there is an art to it, there's a lot of other facets in the hobby that are quite interesting.
Wow. So for those who are interested in the hobby, how would you begin? I mean, obviously there's something for everyone as far in terms of cost, you know, how deep you want to go, I guess you could say. But so Stan, so for someone who was maybe wanting to begin the hobby, perhaps a child in your household has been infatuated with trains for quite some time, how would they start?
Oh, they can do several things. They can go to a local hobby shop, which we have several of them here in town, or they can come out to K&I, talk to some of the people out there. We'll give them tips on that. You start small and work your way up. You can come into the hobby very inexpensively and then grow the hobby as your interest kind of dictates.
Interesting. So Mike, we talked about the educational component of that. I think not only with reenacting, you know, a period in time, and you can see it visually, but also educational as far as we mentioned the technology that's involved. I mean, this is cutting edge kind of stuff, right?
It's all digital. It is, as Stan mentioned, wireless. You can control with virtually any smart device you might have, and it allows us to have sound within the locomotives. Even the containers you see here have sound inside those, and as they go around the layout, they'll cycle on and off just like a real refrigerated container will. The digital allows a lot of things that we're still exploring. I mean, new things come out all the time, new little wrinkles, because of the technology will allow more and more things to evolve.
Well, Stan, when you get someone younger in the hobby, I would think you could probably learn from each other. Much like my son can show me things that I can do on my iPhone that I have no idea. So maybe when someone young comes in, they go, you can tell them about the history aspect, and you can show them, you know, really the nuances and kind of the art side of it, or maybe they get into the tech. Do you find that to happen, the technology?
It's very true. You know, with the smartphone devices and it's all computerized, so the younger people tend to have a second sense for that. So they can teach us how to do that, and we teach them some of the modeling skills.
It's beautiful. Do you find there is more passion involved, or actually maybe more, I guess, eyeballs right now around Christmas time? Because what is it about, I guess because maybe when we were kids, that's what we wanted for Christmas. Is that what it is?
We all started that way.
Yes.
Our first introduction to model trains usually came at this time of the year.
It did.
And there is more interest this time of year, and that's why shows that we do with our traveling layout this time of year are usually really well received, and quite a few people stop by and visit with us.
All right, before we go, I want to make sure that people know if they want to see this, the Winter Wonderland, we'll show those locations again. There's opportunities all the time. You say you go to quite a few libraries, is that right, Steve?
Yes, we do. We'll be out, I think in May or June, I think we'll be at another library. We've got, I think, 2 library tours this summer coming up, and I think we're planning to be at the Linden train show again this year out at Linden. So
all of that's on our website.
Yeah, whenever you get as involved as you guys are in a hobby like this, it can get quite expensive, can't it?
But that's the advantage of a club like ours, is a person can for very little cost join a club, learn a lot, see a lot, get the camaraderie of the other people, plus lean on their expertise, lean on the mistakes that we have already made to keep them from making further mistakes. Besides our traveling layout, we have a very large non-traveling layout that's 40 by 40.
All right. I hate to interrupt you, but we got to tie it up. Again, K&I Model Railroad Club, right?
Yep, definitely.
Sorry about that. I appreciate Stan. Mike, thank you for coming.
Thank you,
Have a
John.
great weekend, and we'll see you Monday on WAVE3 Listens Live.